Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. If this is your first time here, you're welcome. In today's video, I'll be showing you how to draft this princess dart bustier for bust 42 and waist 38. If this is a video you're interested in, please keep on watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe and share this video. Now we'll start with the drafting of the pattern. I have my ruler, my pencil. Later on I switched to a marker and I have my paper. So right now I'll go ahead and marking my shoulder to my bust line, which is 9 inches. I'll also go ahead and mark my shoulder to my bust point, which is 10.5 inches. I'll mark my shoulder to my under bust, which is 14 inches. And I'll be marking my shoulder to my waistline, which is 16 inches. And I'll be adding 1 inch of sewing allowance, which is 17 inches. So I'll be rolling out those markings and I'll be extending the lines. If your exact measurement as mine, please go ahead and follow the steps. This is a bustier for exactly someone who has a bust of 42 inches and a waistline of 38 inches. I'll go ahead and extend the lines, and after that we'll continue with the drafting of the pattern. After extending the lines, I'll go ahead now to my shoulder line or my starting line and I'll mark my shoulder measurement. My shoulder is 16 inches divided by 2, that will give me 8 inches. So I'll go ahead and mark the 8 inches on my starting line or shoulder line, and I'll also mark the 8 inches on my bust line as well. And I'll connect that with a straight line. After that, I'll go ahead and mark my width, my neck width of 4 inches. And you can do 3.5 inches, you can do 4 inches, you can do 5 inches, whichever one works fine. But for this tutorial, I'll be marking 4 inches of neck width, and I'll go ahead to my shoulder line, to my armhole line, and I'll be marking 1 inch for shoulder slope. I'll go ahead and connect those lines to the width, to the neck width. Please, if you don't understand what I'm doing, please just watch the video and you'll understand everything I'm trying to say. Now that I'm done marking my shoulder width and my shoulder slope, I'll go ahead and mark 4 inches also for my neck depth. After marking that, I'll go ahead, after curving my neckline, I'll go ahead to my armhole line. In order for me to curve my armhole, I'll first of all take my bust round measurement of 42 inches divided by 4. That will give me 10.5. I'll go ahead and mark that 10.5 inches, and on the armhole line, I'll locate the midpoint, which is 4 inches. I'll go inwards by 0.5 inches, and I'll be connecting those 3 lines together to form my armhole. Many people don't know this, but to draft a proper bustier, your armhole line is very important. So that's why I took my time to curve my armhole. Right now, go ahead to place my markings for my bust span. My nipple to nipple measurement is 8 inches divided by 2. That will give me 4. So I'll go ahead and mark that 4 inches on both the bust point down to my length. I'll mark it on my bust point, my under bust, and my waistline, and also on the length line. So after marking that, I'll go ahead and take 1 inch on both sides for my darts. Please watch how I do this part, it's very important. I'll be marking 1 inch on both sides for my darts. The 1 inch for darts taken, I'll be marking it from the length upwards to my under bust, and I'll go ahead and curve it up to my bust point. Please just watch how I'm doing this step. If you have any questions, please leave it in the comment section. I'll be sure to reply. So right now, I'm just connecting the lines and I'll go ahead and curve my darts. While I was learning how to draft patterns, bustiers actually gave me a huge problem because I often made a mistake. But right now that I know how to draft it perfectly, I'm glad to share this video with everyone so that you won't make a mistake while drafting yours. So right now I've gone ahead to curve my dart. I'll go ahead and mark 2 inches from that midpoint from the armhole I marked. You see why I said the armhole is very important, and I'll be connecting that line to meet the bust point. Now go ahead and extend my dart by 2 inches. Why am I taking 2 inches outwards? Remember that I marked 1 inch on both sides for my dart. That 1 inch plus the other 1 inch making 2 inches. That's why I extended my dart at the upper part by 2 inches. If you took in your dart on both sides and it's measuring 2.5, you extend by 2.5. That's the trick about bustiers. Right now, that will form my new armhole, and now I'll be carving out my new armhole. This is the trick I learned about bustiers. Trust me, you won't get this information anywhere else except on this channel. This is the best trick you can use to get your bustiers right. Because I'm working with Ankara fabric for this pattern, I'll go ahead and add 2 inches of sewing allowance for my bustier. So I'll mark 2 inches of sewing allowance on my bust line. I'll come to my waistline and mark my 9.5 inches. That's my waist, which is 38 divided by 4 will give me 9.5. I'll mark the 9.5, mark my 2 inches that, and also mark 2 inches for sewing allowance. I'll be connecting the lines just as shown. After connecting the lines, I'll go ahead and curve my bustier so that it won't have a sharp edge. So I'll go ahead and draw that curve. You need to draw that curve so that it won't show a sharp edge. So I went ahead to curve it just as shown in the video. With this, you are done with the front pattern. You might ask why I added my sewing allowance to my pattern paper. I like to do that because sometimes while drafting your pattern, you might forget to add your allowance and you just cut directly on your fabric. I don't want that to happen. I've made a mistake doing that in the past, and that's why I add my sewing allowance to my pattern and when I'm drafting my pattern. So right now I'll go ahead and cut out my pattern. Please watch how I cut out my pattern. Cut it exactly how I cut out mine. Cut it exactly how I cut out mine. And if you have watched to this point, please give this video a like so that other people can be able to see it and watch it and learn from me. Subscribe to the channel and leave a comment if you have any questions. Now, when you are done cutting your pattern, this is where you will know if you have done a good job or you are missing something. Now, you see the way my darts are aligned. The 2 inches extension is outwards. That's where you know that you have done the correct thing, because remember, your sewing allowance is 2 inches. So the 2 inches extended is the 2 inches for the sewing allowance. So definitely our bustier is going to align when you're done sewing. So right now, I'm going to go ahead and mark for the back. I'll also be marking 1 inch of zipper allowance for the back. I'll go ahead and do that right now. After marking my 1 inch of zipper allowance, I'll go ahead and take my measurement, my shoulder line and to my bust line. My shoulder line to my bust line is 9 inches. I'll mark that. My shoulder line to my bust point, which is 10.5, I'll mark that. And I'll mark my shoulder to my under bust, which is 14 inches, but it's not needed, but I just mark it for the sake of this tutorial. I'll go ahead and mark my shoulder to my waistline, which is 16 inches, and also my 1 inch of sewing allowance, which is 17 inches. I'll go ahead now and mark that. I'll go ahead and mark my shoulder measurement, which is 16 divided by 2. That will give me 8 inches. I'll mark that and connect with a straight line just as shown in the video. I'll also go ahead to mark my 1 inch of shoulder slope for my back. I'll be marking 1 inch for shoulder slope, but for my neck width, I'll be doing 4 inches as well for the back. But my neck depth, I'll be going downwards by 8 inches. I want a low back, that's why I marked 8 inches. So I'll be marking my 8 inches and I'll be marking a particular shape for my back. You can do any back design of your choice, but for this tutorial, I'll be using this style for my back. So I'll go ahead now and just connect the lines just as shown. I went ahead to locate the midpoint of my armhole, which is 4 inches, and I went inwards by 0.25 inches. I'll be connecting the line, marking my bust line measurement, which is my full round bust, which is 42 divided by 4. That will give me 10.5, and I'll be marking it and I'll be connecting the lines for my armhole. Now I'll go ahead and mark my bust span measurement, which is 8 inches. I'll be marking that from my bust point down to my length, and I'll be connecting with a straight line. Now for the back dart, I'll be doing a normal dart for the back, and I'll be going inwards, taking 1 inch on both sides for my dart. The back dart doesn't have to be so complicated. That's why I'm using a normal dart system. After connecting my dart, I went ahead to mark my bust line measurement, adding 2 inch of sewing allowance because we took in 2 inch of sewing allowance for the front pattern. So we'll go ahead and take 2 inch of sewing allowance for the back pattern as well. I'll be marking the 2 inches on my bust line and on my waistline. Then I'll go to my zipper allowance and go inwards by 0.5 inches, and I'll be marking the lines and connecting it just as shown in the video. This is just to avoid zipper bulging. After connecting my lines, I'll go ahead and mark 0.5 inwards and 0.5 outwards to remove zipper bulge. After doing that, we have come to the end of drafting this back pattern. But on my waistline, I'll go upwards by 0.5 inches as well, and I'll just connect it to the dart leg, just as shown in the video. Now that we're done with the pattern, I'll go ahead and cut out the pattern. Please just watch how I cut out my back pattern so you don't make a mistake cutting out yours. And with that, we are done with the pattern drafting for both the front and the back. And we are done drafting for a princess that bustier with bust 42 and waist 38. Please give this video a like, subscribe to my channel, and please leave a comment in the comment section. I'll be sure to reply. Thank you for watching my videos.